be known.
Sure will.
Okay, it is 5:00 p.m. on Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. I'll call this regular town board meeting of the town of LaPointe to order. Take a roll call. Mike Anderson.
Here.
Amy Baxter.
Here.
Susan Brenna.
Here.
Samantha Dobson.
Here.
And Glenn Carlson here. We also have our town administrator and our town clerk, as well as members of the public and of the TPC. Next item on the agenda is public comment A. Is there any public comment? Paul?
Just under a minute. In the last Gazette, there was a public outreach for the sanitary sewer improvements. And I have to apologize, unbeknownst to me, they did not put any numbers in here. Well, it's very informative. It would help if you could have mentioned that it was a $4 million upgrade, which tentatively looks like they're almost going to double the rates on the collection system. And holding tanks looks like they're going up about 50 or 60 bucks a year. Just saying, anyone here, anyone in internet land has any questions about this, if you want to contact me, I would throw out, you can run this past them. The other two commissioners, Ted Pallas and Michael Childers, if you got any other questions about this or concerns, it looks like we'll be voting on this sometime next month.
Thank you, Paul. Any other public comment? Yes, Lauren.
I'm here on behalf of the LaPointe Parent Committee to let everybody know that we'll be holding a community meeting at the LaPointe School on this coming Tuesday, March 4th at 5 p.m. where we'll be offering a tour, information session and a discussion regarding the referendum that will be on the April ballot.
What time?
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
on Tuesday, March 4th.
Thank you, Lauren. Is there any other public comment?
I have public comment.
Go ahead.
I want to thank the Winstead and the Ice Road people for letting us have an ice road at least a little while, and I know it's a lot of work, so thanks to them.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, moving on. Town administrators report. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Max on his report? Thank you, Max. Moving on. Public Works. Oh, do we have unanimous consent to place his report on file?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, next, Public Works, Roadstock Harbor. I don't believe we have anything. Parks, nothing. Moving on, committees, planning and zoning. They're proposing some changes to ordinance 205, and I think we've got our zoning administrator with us, as well as two members of the TPC to answer any questions anyone has on this. Again, this is just a first reading. I know that Mr. Price, our building inspector, had some interest in this, but I think his interest was probably more along the lines of sort of the entire ordinance dealing with building. And so this is just to bring us into what the administrative code provides, as I understand it.
Correct. These are the exemptions that are provided for in the SPS. That's all it is. I think that James might have a.
Has he seen this change, these changes?
Yes.
So has he reflect, I mean, has he said anything about them?
He has not given us any substantive response. I think he's withholding his approval of this because he wants to have overall review of the whole ordinance. This is, I think, I'm reading into it because I asked him, he hasn't commented. So my sense is he wants to hold off on saying that he approves this because he might have other issues with the ordinance.
I think that's probably right.
Because if he has to enforce UDC inspections, we don't want to do an ordinance that he can't work with.
These are exemption, the code exempts repairs, accessory buildings, detached decks, and farm buildings. Wording it right out.
Did they just change the
I
code,
don't know if they.
or we've been doing it wrong for a while?
I think they have that exempt for a while.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for either Max or the TPC?
Well, so who's responsible to follow up with? Is he gonna get back to somebody and let you know?
I think that Glenn and James have been talking about James coming here.
Yes.
April.
Right, we haven't settled exactly on a date, sometime late April.
Yeah.
He's gonna, well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will, when I talk to him, I'll mention to him that we had a first reading of this, and if he has any important input, he should let me know or
Yeah.
let Ed know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. Committee minutes. We have a bunch of committee minutes, Harbor Commission, Affordable Housing Committee. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the committee minutes? Is there unanimous consent to place those on file?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Budget summary report. You will notice that we're showing very slender revenues for the month of January. And I believe that is probably because at least the bulk, I believe, of the property taxes had not been deposited until the beginning of February. So we should be seeing that unless you have more to add on that. Any other questions on the budget summary report? Is there a motion to accept the budget summary report?
Yes.
Make a motion, we accept the budget report, please.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, next item, authorize additional application cap borrowing. This was really initially just going to be a backstop for the approval that you gave recently to approach Bremer for borrowing the approximately $550,000 that we anticipate spending on capital projects this year. Since that time, I have learned that as opposed to what we thought was going to be the situation with this harbor assistance grant, which is going to do the Bayfield dock and the dredging, which are both necessary. It's not they're going to pay their share and we pay our share. We pay the whole thing and they reimburse us for their share. Yeah, and so their share is like $800,000. Our share is like $200,000. Now our share, that $200,000 is in the 550 already. Okay, we included that in the capital. But what we haven't included in there is the other 800,000 roughly. I've gotten an email from Cal sort of outlining what he thinks the cash flow out is on this, and it's really all of the money is going to be spent by the end of June, according to what he says. Let me just get you his exact, and I just got this like earlier today. He's anticipating 150,000 in March, 250,000 in April, 250,000 in May, and 360,000 in June. He said bid notices will be going out this week. The first bids will be for engineering and the steel ramp. Once engineering is done, bidding will go out for the dock, dredging, and piling. So I think that we need to probably up the amount that we are going to be looking for. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience with the Harbor Assistance Program and how quickly they turn around reimbursements. Obviously, we're going to expedite as soon as we pay any of these, or the Harbor Commission or the Ferry Line pays any of these bills. We will seek reimbursement right away, but whether that's a 30-day turnaround, which is what Cal thinks, or, you know, a bit longer, you know, we're going to be holding, you know, the paper on about 800,000 for at least a few months. So what I was going to ask for was authorization to talk to the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands about the 550,000. Still have not gotten anything definitive back from Bremer. And it wouldn't surprise me if they feel like they've got plenty of Tunnel LaPointe debt that they're holding. So it may be that the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands would be our place to go. They tend to be cheaper. It can be refinanced anytime, can be prepaid. They can even waive interest for the first year or two, depending on things. And it can be for as long as 20 years, although the interest rate's slightly higher for that than, say, 2 to 3 years. This is just preliminary to give Max and the administration the ability to contact the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands and get the process rolling for potentially, I would say, a loan of up to 1.35 million. So the 550 plus the 800.
So you want to borrow 800 on top of the 550?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the 800 should be entirely reimbursed to us in a pretty short period of time. But, you know, and this is news to the Harbor Commission, news to me. You know, frankly, the question had been raised previously, and whether it was a misunderstanding or what, they got an incorrect answer the first time that they asked the question, which is the answer they gave us. And so, but now they've learned that it is more like the typical grant, government grant, which is a reimbursement type grant. So what I'm looking for here is, and I will talk to Bremer as well and see if, you know, they have an interest in going up to the 1,350,000 if that's the town board's direction. But I would like to have at least the direction. This is not to approve taking this loan. Okay. This is just to give
To ask the
Further
question.
Max
conversations.
to get the ball rolling on that. It may very well be, and I think it is likely that both for the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands and for Bremer, that it would require a town meeting to approve, the electors to approve this kind of borrowing. But I'm not 100% certain on that. We'll find out. So is there a motion to authorize the town administrator to pursue a loan of up to 1,350,000 from both Bremer Bank and the Board of Commissioners of Public Lands?
I'll make a motion to approve the going ahead with asking both of those financial institutions.
I'll second.
How close are we to our,
That would get us, we would be probably within $1 million of our limit at that point.
Okay, so you just found out, or the Harbor Commission or somebody just found out that it's not, it's, we got to pay for it and then we get paid back.
Yep.
Okay, where is that in writing somewhere? I mean, I don't want to find out 6 months from now that we're not getting paid back.
Well, that we're not, oh, no, I mean, this is, I mean, the money, the grant has been made. Okay. They have approved this grant. It's just the way that they go about reimbursing us or paying for the grant is they don't write the check to the subcontractors. we write the check basically to the subcontractors and then we send them the proof that we've paid it with that bill and then they reimburse us.
Okay.
Now, it may be if it's a 30-day turnaround, you know, that we don't need ever to have the full 800,000 at once. But given that it's all going to be spent within 4 months, I mean, I think it's prudent for us. I mean, it might be that it's 4 months to turn around these reimbursements. I don't know.
We don't know that timeline. And that's what we're actually giving him permission to find out, right?
Yeah.
Well, can you just get one loan per payment and send the receipt in and get paid back?
Yeah. Well, but not borrowing. Okay. So we aren't able to really get a line of credit, if you will, where, okay, we'll give you an $800,000 line of credit. You guys draw down from it. And when you draw down to pay the bills, you know, then,
That's when the interest starts?
yeah, that's when the interest
They won't
starts.
do that?
Not with this kind of loan. And it may be, you know, again, I'll talk to Bremer and I know the Board of Commissioners, Public Lands doesn't do this kind of thing. And it may be that Bremer would do it if we had a vote of the electors.
Mhm.
Because we do have, the Harbor Commission does actually have a $600,000 line of credit with Bremer. They borrowed it for, you know, the slow time of year. And so they did set up that kind of thing with the Harbor Commission. But I know that that was part of something that had to be approved by the electors. So any other questions or discussion? Obviously, this is just the first step. A lot more to come. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on. Award the bid and approve the contract for the tree removal by the wind sled transportation building.
I will make a motion to approve the contract with CA Nelson and Son Dock Construction for the removal of the trees up at the wind sled.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, vouchers.
I will make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $102,000. $102,231.96.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, alternative claims. We have both for September 2024 and January 2025.
For the September 2024, I will make a motion to approve in the amount of $162,966.63.
$996.
$996. Okay. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Then we have the January.
And for January 25, I will make the motion to approve the amount of $1,541,296.30.
Is there a second?
Second.
And the very large share of that, like $1.4 million of it, is our remittances to Ashland County and the Bayfield School District and Northwood Tech College of the first half property taxes. Okay, moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We do not yet have the treasurer's report for December or January. Hopefully that is being worked on and we will have it at our next meeting.
At least for December.
Okay, that would be great. Next, minutes of the February 11th, 2025 town board meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the regular town board meeting minutes of February 11th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Next is the fire department and the MOU with Ashland County Sheriff on e-dispatch.
I will make a motion to authorize. You don't sign this anymore, Glenn? Just Rick,
Oh, maybe it's just Rick, yeah.
authorize Rick Heister as the fire chief to sign the MOU between us and Ashland County Sheriff's Department.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is ambulance, and this was to approve Sarah being authorized to sell this EKG monitor that was purchased sometime in the last couple of years by the ambulance department. According to Sarah, it's never been used and is unlikely ever to be used because of the training involved. And it is as it says, highly sophisticated piece of equipment. Since this was written, the suggestion has come up that perhaps the clinic might make good use of this. And so I think Max is going to explore with the clinic whether this is something that would be of value to the community to keep it on the island. And so I would entertain a motion to authorize the sale of it unless it is needed by the clinic, in which case we can talk about how we'll arrange that.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Sarah to either sell or give to the clinic the vital monitor.
I'll second.
Is that the clinic or other buyer if the clinic's not interested?
Or other buyer.
I got a question. So we pay, I mean, if it was purchased for $40,000 and the manufacturer only give us $8,000 and it was never used. So what are, does anybody know our expectations of getting what we're gonna get for it?
Sarah was also, she was gonna contact these resellers of medical, the whole business. The resellers, not new equipment in the medical industry. She was gonna go through that and see if she could get a better price from those folks.
Did Cindy think it was easier to use when she purchased it? Do we know?
Pardon?
Did Cindy think it was easier to use when she purchased it? Do you know?
Yeah. Rational. It's a sophisticated piece of equipment and I know they didn't train anybody.
Yeah.
And Sarah feels like it's overkill for what they.
Okay, well, if we could at some point find out what it is, what the rationale was in the first place, I think that would be helpful for us to hopefully not make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment B. Is there any, John?
To get my name spelling corrected in this. It's John, not Jonh. And second, I'm kind of worried about the money that Fairyland's costing the town. Seems like spending a lot of money on something that was really broke that bad when you bought it. Seems like we're borrowing money we don't have. The boats are need to all be replaced according to the Harbor Commission's meetings I sat in on.
Thank you, John. Any other public comment? Go ahead, John.
I don't know if any of you guys watched the Affordable Housing Committee meeting, the one that was last on Zoom, which is really great. The chair commented on she was wondering about commitment from the board for their committee.
Okay, thank you, John. I'll take a look at that.
You would be very interested
Okay,
if you wanted to.
appreciate it. Okay, any other public comment? Any liquor licenses, Alex? Lawsuits and legal, Max?
Yeah, just as an update that the case here in Ashland County. It's being tried by Judge Anderson, who's from Bayfield County, so the Ashland County Judge, Judge McKnight, has recused himself. The options are for that one, that the judge will either decide on the merits, in other words, he'll make a decision, or he'll kick it back to the Tax Appeals Commission. Prior to this denied, they said they didn't have jurisdiction, so my sense is that if he ruled on the merits and if he ruled in our favor, it'll be appealed. So I mean, this will drag on. If we lose, then the town board will have to decide if we want to, how, depending on his decision, whether they want to proceed. As far as the sergeant claims, I got the names of the two insurance adjusters, one our workers' comp, and then the harbor commission's work. Right?
Probably Miffle LLC's workers' comp.
So I'm going to talk to him and see what my understanding is that when we got a notice of claim because we're a municipality, they don't just file it, they don't just service papers. If we don't answer that, that's considered a denial that we're denied. We don't have to actively file anything. If it goes 6 months and we don't answer, that means we deny. And then if they're going to sue, well, the next thing will be somebody try to negotiate something. Don't agree, then they would sue.
Yeah, and it may not be, I'm not a workers' comp expert by any stretch, but it may be that not when I read the notice of claim from their attorneys, from sergeant's attorneys, they seem to be alleging negligence, which may take it outside of workers' comp. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so fact specific on when those workers comp claims. It really, it's hard to say how.
Thank you, Max. So, new agenda items for future meetings.
Things for the dust abatement and the trash compactor replacement. So it's our annual town meeting, April 15th, as long as that works with everybody.
Great. Okay, and again, we have our spring election coming up on April 1st. That's a few weeks away yet. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
You're gonna take a-
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.